Okay, on this hot summer day, today's project, I have not seen any videos on how to change the coilovers on a Skyline R34. So I figured I might as well make one and use my car. First thing I'm gonna do is jack the car up. I'm gonna start with the rear. I'll leave a link in the bottom on how to take off the rear seats, because we need to access the bolts in the rear. So I'll leave a link in the description below while I wait for this plane to fly over. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna do is jack up the rear from the differential. I'll lift it up, put it on jack stands, take the lug nuts off, and begin to pull out the shocks. Now, you don't necessarily need to do it in the order that I'm doing it. This is just the way I'm gonna do it. It is hot, I'm sweating like crazy. Let me jack up the car and then I'll go inside and loosen the top bolts, so hang on. Okay, now that it's up in the air, time to get the tire off. Okay, the bolts that I'm gonna do first are the interior bolts, the two on the top. Those are 12 millimeters. And then the single 17 with a nut and bolt that runs through, and it's on the bottom right there. Okay, so let's go inside. I'll show you how to take it off from the inside. Okay, it is hot in here. So this is what the rear looks like. Now, I took the seats out. I will link a video on the bottom on how to remove the seats, and it's just two 12 millimeter nuts on the top of the shock tower that's holding the coilover in, and they're right here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's right in there. One, and deep in back here, two. Okay, there's so many different ways. I tried different ratchets. It's kind of tight in there. Easiest way I found was one of these things that the head can bend like that. So let me take this off. It's just two 12 millimeters, and then we can go back outside. Okay, that's one. You might be able to use a socket to get a deep socket to get at the next one. I'm not too sure. And that's two. Okay, so you could use a deep socket to take out the closest one to you, or whatever will work, but it's small. I mean, the spacing in here is very small. Made for a little Asian person, not for a big guy like me. So I am dying, I need to get out of here. Okay, so I did shoot everything with some penetrating lube. Now it's time to take off the 17 millimeter on the bottom. Okay, now just push down and pull it out. Okay, sorry I had to come in the shade, but the coilover is out. It's a bit rusted. That's to be expected from Japan with their salt air. Now I don't know what weight springs these are. And the correct way to lower any vehicle, whether it's this kind of car or not, is to have minimal preload on the spring and adjust your height with the threaded body section. So let me clean this up, loosen the jam nut, take some measurements, and get everything back together. So hang on, I'll be right back. Now, putting it back is pretty much just the opposite. Only difference is I'm by myself. So what I'm gonna do is just put the shock into place. I'm going to put the bottom 17mm bolt on. Then I'm going to use a separate little hydraulic jack, and that should help me kind of lift it up into place, and then I can go into the car, put the top bolts on, and that should be it for the back. So let me get on that. Okay, let's see if I can do this. So this is what I was talking to you guys about when I said that I would use the jack to support everything while I go inside the car. So this is what it looks like. Okay, now time to go inside the car, tighten those two 12mm nuts, and then I can start on the front. So I'll be right back. All right, those two bolts are a pain in the butt. But they're in there. So now I just have to tighten the lower 17 for the shock mount, and that's it for the rear, and time to tackle the front. Not bad. Time for the front. I'm gonna drive the front onto the Megan race ramps. Once I drive it up, then I can put my jack underneath and begin the fronts. So hang on. Now that the front end is up, I'm gonna take off the tire. I'm gonna take off one bolt from each side, from the strut tower and the shocks. I'm gonna loosen the other one and leave it there, because that's the bolt that I'll loosen last to take the coilovers off. So let me take care of the top strut towers. I'll be right back. All right, time for the front. I don't know how well the camera will see with the lighting change and the darkness inside the fender weld. This is not necessarily the right way to do it. This is just the way that I'm gonna do it, because I couldn't find anyone online to help me. So this is what I'm gonna do. First is to take off the bracket for the brake wheel speed sensor thing, whatever. I'll show you guys. Next is the 14mm. Oh no. It's actually pretty easy. Just that and the 17mm that's holding the shock on, and that's it. So let me take that off now. All right, then I just gotta loosen that one upper bolt for the shock tower, and the shock should just fall right out. Holy cows. That was so easy. Basically just a 17 millimeter that holds the bottom, the two 14s on top, and it just slides right out. And I just loosened the brake ABS sensor line just to give me a little more clearance, and it actually is connected to the bottom bracket here. So yeah, that does need to come off. Now just to make my height adjustments and put everything back in. So let me adjust the coilovers and I'll be right back. All right, coilovers are adjusted. Now it's just time to slip it right back in. Just tighten everything back up. Put the tire on, and that's it. All right, that is it. The car is done. It's that easy to put in your coilovers or change out from the factory suspension or whatever you may want. Okay, that's the coilover suspension for this portion of the day. I'm done with this project. I'll get on the others and I'll start on the Tacoma probably this week. All right, thanks again everybody. I'll check you guys out on the next project.